Order roll call, please.
Ms. Bose,
Here.
Dr. Dauber, Ms. Evans,
Here.
Mrs. Groger, Ms. Farmer, Mr. Johnson, Dr. King, Ms. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Van Hise.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. And we will entertain a motion to go into executive session for purposes of HIB report, personnel and employment matters, and specifically the conclusion of the superintendent evaluation. This will be approximately 30 minutes and no official action will be taken. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we are headed to executive session.
Look at that. Efficient. I love it.
Good? Good, and I'll just remind all of the board members, if you could just put your cell phones on airplane mode so that we avoid any of the feedback. I promised I'd do that. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. We have just come out of our executive session portion of our meeting. So we'll start this evening's public portion with our Open Public Meetings Act statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. And as required under law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided via email and/or fax to the Times, the Ledger, the Public Library, and has been filed with the municipal clerk. This notice was provided prior to the 48 hours required by the Open Public Meetings Act, and the board reserves the right to limit public discussion of personnel items and other matters as defined in the law. That, we will turn to flag salute.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have no student representative reports this evening and no recognitions of acknowledgement, so we'll turn to the adoption of the minutes. These are the executive and regular session minutes from the June 30th, 2021 meeting. If there are no changes or amendments, if somebody would like to move those.
Second.
And with a motion and a second, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Ms. Bose,
Yes.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Ms. Farmer,
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Superintendent's report.
Good evening. I hope that you're all having a wonderful summer and finding ways to stay cool. And lately, I hope that you're finding ways to stay dry. It's been a really busy summer as we're hitting the middle of July, planning for September. We're really trying to take the things that we learned over the last year and a half and improved our schools and how we can make that part of our practice and how can we use what we learned to make us even better. We're also spending a lot of time and working hard to fill our open positions. And I really want to thank Sean Fry, our HR team, and all of our administrators for really working diligently to find the very best candidates to help add to our district and also ensure that all of our positions are filled so we're ready for our students in September. Since our last meeting, which was not too long ago, I had excellent meetings with our BIAC and the Lawrence Black Lives Matters, introducing Cliff Thompson, our Director of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. He has really hit the ground running and glad that he can be part of our summer planning, our hiring processes, and I also want to thank the BIAC and the Lawrence Black Lives Group for collaborating with us and working with us to make us better in every area. Summer school started and it's going really well. It's so awesome to have more and more back in our schools and more seeming a lot more normal. As the governor executive order still stands on requiring masks in school, and our health department recommends that we continue. Right now through ASY, we are continuing our mask mandate. If the governor changes that order or we get different guidelines from our health department, we will absolutely revisit that. And then lastly, I really want to share my thanks to the Board of Education and the high school administrators. As you can see behind me, we had a group of students, our drama students, some from this year, some from last year. They approached us and asked if they could have some type of summer production, since for the last 2 years, there was no spring production. It didn't happen because of the pandemic. It's just really another great example. As you can see, it's kicked off as our team being responsive to our students and what's doing best for our students. So I'm excited to see the finished product, and I know they've been here training and practicing, and excitement that they finally get to have one of their big productions. So thanks for the board for approving that, and the high school for allowing them to have the space and the guidance to do so. And that's all I have for tonight.
Great, thank you. Board Secretary's report.
Since we just meet, I'll defer all the items to just reference you to the SBM section, where you'll find awards of contracts there and typical business for both the school year coming and ESY.
Good, thank you. Board President's report. I'll just echo Ross's comments and extend our thanks to certainly the central office staff and our administrative teams. This is always a very busy month, lining up all of the personnel moves for the upcoming school year. And this year has exceeded all expectations and that sort of thing. And I know they've been working overtime on that. And so the board extends its thank you to you and Sean and everybody else for addressing that. And we'll be ready to rock and roll come September. With that, committee reports. Michelle King is not here this evening, so I don't know if Community Relations has anything or no report. Nope. We have no negotiations report this evening, so equity.
No equity report and no guidance and mental health report.
Okay. School boards and Ed Foundation, or
Nope.
Joanne, we'll get those next time. Town
Yep.
Council is Dr. Dauber, who's not here this evening. Growth and redevelopment is Mr. Johnson, and so no report this evening. Same with Direct Link. Partnership.
Partnership did not meet, but I have some meetings scheduled with them in next week, just to touch base, meet with the board for every child valued. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you. VOTEC.
Oh, nothing, I'm sorry.
No problem. And nothing from special education
No.
this evening? Okay.
Nope, nothing.
So communications.
No.
Very good. So we'll turn to our first opportunity for public input. We'll just ask that if you have anything to say, that you come up, give us your name, your address, and just a reminder that your comments are limited to 3 minutes. And so with that, we'll open it up for public input. Seeing none, we'll move on to our board discussion.
Kevin.
And, oh, I'm sorry.
Rosario Clauso, 44 Franklin Corner Road. I just wanted to ask, there's been a lot in the news and all over the media about schools segregating or separating, I guess, the vaccinated children from the unvaccinated children. Is that something this district is looking to do for this fall, for this school year coming up?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Carolyn Poiker, 736 President Ave. I really want to say something profound, but it's not going to happen, so here we go. I don't want to do like a litany of questions, but that might actually be what happens. So somebody just said something at the beginning, I think it might have been Dr. Kaysen, that Black Lives Matter is helping you make our schools better. Can you explain what that means? And maybe I misheard, but that's what I heard.
I think that they're collaborating with us on many levels of their petition and having us look at the lens from every child in our district and making sure that we are looking at everything through an equitable lens, a fair lens, and creating a sense of joy and a sense of belonging for every student in our school.
Okay. I guess the reason I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if maybe I should shut up too. I was on a call recently. One of my children has a summer job through, it's called like Mercer County Connect Summer Job Connection or something. And they had to do some like online training. And some of the training was diversity training, and it was actually really, really, really well done. And they gave people an opportunity, the students, anybody who's in this program is anywhere from like, I think 16 to 22. And somebody went on and said something to the effect of like all white people are responsible for slavery. So I'm just hoping that that's not something that is being taught here or being suggested to be taught here.
We teach to the core standards, and that's not in the core standards.
Okay. And what does every child valued mean? I heard somebody say that.
Would you like me to speak to it? Okay. Every child value is It's a program, an after-school program for at-risk children in Lawrence Township community in the Eggers Crossing neighborhood.
Oh, okay, that's great. So the last question I have is, and we're going to talk about masks again because that's my favorite topic. So if my kids can't wear a mask for 7.5 hours or whatever it is next year, like what's going to happen? Like, you know, they become behavioral, they start failing more tests. What's going to happen?
Well, again, from my letter earlier in the summer, right now we are at the point where masks are optional for September. We will cross that bridge when we get there, depending on the governor's guidelines and the health of the state. And if students are having difficulties working with masks, just like if they were having difficulties with something else, we'll figure out a way to make it work.
I'm going to hold you to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, good evening. My name's Hillary. I live in Lawrenceville. I wanted to acknowledge first your leadership for this.
We are going to need your last name.
Oh, sorry, Jersey, New Jersey. I wanted to acknowledge your leadership in this newest update to make the masks optional for students and staff. Thank you for bringing choice back to parents and not supporting the idea that one-size medical decisions fits everyone the same. I also want to acknowledge that the whole Lawrence Township Public School District has had an extremely challenging 15-plus months at this point, and I know you're all doing the best you could with our children's best interest in mind and utilizing the guidance that was provided and continually shifting over time, as it will continue to do, we know. Thank you very much for that. We all have learned so much about this illness since we were first impacted by it in March 2020. We know currently that the rate of transmission has been low for many months now, and that the student population that you serve is the lowest risk of harm. We also learned that there are many real harms done by masks and physical or social distancing, whatever you want to call it, to all the kids and the whole community here. It just makes no sense to me. Our kids have spent the last, well, for this township, 6 months, because they went back in January, without seeing their teachers' and friends' smiles and the full features of the humanity. They've been limited to how close they can get to each other, which limits bonds of human connection. All of these natural human interactions build mental health, which we know keeps kids connected and alive. We know that the physical impact of the masks has been negative as well. Masks prevent fresh oxygen to be inhaled and absorbed by the body when our kids are growing at incredible rates. Breathing fresh air helps our cells grow and heal, while exhaling is our body's way of removing the toxins and harmful items from our body that our body doesn't need. Masks do not allow that natural process to happen. The cases of face skin rashes, eye infections, cavities have been seen as a result of mask wearing. You can look this up through pediatric dental offices and pediatricians' offices. My own kids developed skin rashes where the masks were covering their faces, their mouths. They developed cavities, and my oldest developed nosebleeds. And he was in school not through Lawrence Township, but in a full-day program. And this is what we're moving to. And we need these masks to be optional and let parents choose whether or not they feel it's more of a hazard or a safety for their own child. We think those who need precautions, then they can protect themselves as they see fit, wearing a mask, getting the vaccine, and the use of plexiglass, if you must, at teachers' desks or other offices where interactions take place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Board discussion and work session items. We have nothing this evening, so we'll move to our next opportunity for public input. Seeing none, we'll move on to our board discussion and action items. Does anybody have a personnel
I
committee
do.
report?
I
Okay,
have
please. Yep.
Personnel. Personnel met on July 7th. Sean Fry, Ross Kaysen, Kevin Van Heis, and myself were present. And the entire meeting was basically discussing staffing for the upcoming year and the challenges that we are facing in general around teachers. And I think that's really all we discussed. And And we discussed the Director of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion job description. And with that, I would like to move P1 through P17.
Is there a second?
Second.
With a motion and a second, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Ms. Bowes?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Is there a CIAPD report this evening?
Yes, I have that too, covering for John Dauber. CIAPD met on July 13th. It was Michelle King, Patricia Farmer, Andrew Ross, Kaysen, and myself. We discussed in-person learning plan for next year and developing a multi-year plan to review and evaluate essential skills and assess students for fall 2020 and beyond. We also discussed the health screening update, no more daily Qualtrics surveys. A letter will go out with requirements and responsibilities for the fall. All of the town meetings occurred in each school, and all of the town hall videos are on the website, so families can watch them anytime, where all principals talk about what to expect in the upcoming year. And we discussed professional development for 21-22. There will be a lot of equity training. Val and Rebecca will be handing off the training to our new Director of Diversity and Inclusion. We will have 3 dates of equity training over the year. We are also doing a lot of training at the high school, working on developing videos for the teachers that are specific to their academic area to include the additional instruction time that we'll see at the high school for next year. Training in person with the staff will occur 1st or 2nd of September. We discussed all of the grants that we have, Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV, and funding for the after-school programs for Slackwood, Eldridge Park, LIS, LMS, and the high school and the middle school as well. That seems to be it. And with that, I would like to move IS1 through IS3.
Second.
With a motion and a second, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Ms. Bowes?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Finance.
Finance did not meet, but in addition to the usual business of the district, there are a couple things on the agenda of note. One is that the girls' team room, their budget has been approved for that, and that will get underway at the high school. And also under consideration are laboratory improvements at LIS and LHS. And the rest is pretty standard stuff, so I'd like to move SBM 1 through 8.
Good, thanks.
Second.
With a motion and a second, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Ms. Bowes?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Turn to our last opportunity for public input.
Just a couple of things that, off the top of my head. Just echo everything you heard from Hillary Jersey. Really feel the same way. I know my one daughter, when she wore a mask, had a particulate from the mask get stuck in her throat, and it stayed there for quite a while, so she had trouble with that. So one of the things, I see going on, and I'm sure the board's aware of CDC recommendations regarding the mask of unvaccinated children in schools, and I want to find out what the intended policy was with regard to that.
We're just continuing at this point to monitor and watch. I think it's too soon to make a decision based on a lot of different things.
Okay. You know, I personally, and, you know, expect there'll be a ton of lawsuits regarding what I see going on in the world on policies where people are being segregated based on whether they got a vaccine or not, and being asked to wear a mask based on that. So, you know, I think that's something to consider, you know, whether you're complicit with that side. It's very discriminatory in my personal opinion. People have religious beliefs that make them exempt to vaccinations and other reasons why they choose not to get vaccinated. And then this particular vaccine, of course, is not on any schedule at this point, so it's essentially, you know, on a voluntary basis. And I think that's really all I have to say at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to our new business items.
Yes, I will move the new business items. We have some appointments and some corrections to rates, as well as some grant money that we are accepting. And with that, I would like to move new business 1 through new business 33.
Is there a second?
Second.
With a motion and a second. Tom, whenever you're ready.
Ms. Bowes?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Van Hise?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And with that, we will thank everyone for coming out this evening. They move much quicker when we do these every other week, but thank you all for coming out. Everybody stay cool, and with that, we will entertain our last motion for the evening, if somebody would like to move that.
Motion to end meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.